It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 29th day of January 2022. And of course, it is sail away day for me on board the MSC Seashore. I'll be joining her about noon this afternoon and sailing away this evening. Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 29th day of January 2022. Today is National Puzzle Day. When's the last time you worked a jigsaw puzzle? Maybe today's the day. All right, a lot of action in the cruise world this weekend. Cruise ships sailing from North American ports today. Up in Manhattan in New York, the Norwegian Gem gets underway. Port Canaveral has the Independence of the Seas, Norwegian Escape. The Mardi Gras, Disney Fantasy, Carnival Magic all sail. Port Everglades, Celebrity Apex, Celebrity Reflection, Sky Princess, Odyssey of the Seas, Enchanted Princess. Down in Miami, Carnival Sunrise, Symphony of the Seas. Of course, the Seashore, which I'll be on. Norwegian Joy, Carnival Freedom. Over in Tampa, the Norwegian Dawn. New Orleans, the Carnival Valor. Galveston, the Carnival Dream, and the Carnival Vista. Out in Long Beach, Los Angeles, Carnival Panorama. In Los Angeles, San Pedro, the Majestic Princess. Tomorrow, on Sunday, in Baltimore, the Carnival Legend sails. Port Canaveral, Meraviglia, Harmony of the Seas, both sail. West Palm Beach, the Grand Classica, and the Sea Dream 2 sail. Port Everglades, Allure of the Seas, Caribbean Princess, Celebrity Edge, and Celebrity Equinox all get underway. Miami, the Scarlet Lady, Oasis of the Seas, Carnival Horizon, Norwegian Encore, the MSC Divina, I'll be on her next week. Seabourn Ovation, all get underway. And in Tampa, the Carnival Pride, New Orleans, Norwegian Breakaway, Galveston, Liberty of the Seas, and out in San Diego, the Zuiderdam. Busy schedule this weekend. Today's headlines: the Viking Osiris Floated Out, CLIA Report on the Industry, Allure of the Seas itinerary changes, Hong Kong cancels more cruises, and much more live on Saturday. A couple pictures to share from Freedom of the Seas before I go on to the next ship later today. This was Cheryl from the Philippines, my awesome waitress in the main dining room. And then the lovely Crystal Duhames, the New York Times reporter who was with me for the entire cruise, plus a couple days beforehand at the farm in Forest. This was last night while I was doing the live stream from up on Deck 11 on Freedom of the Seas. Looking forward to seeing the end result from the work with Crystal in the New York Times. I'll let you know when I get the dates on all that. I still don't have it. It's going to be sometime in March. Get to welcome a new member to the podcast family, as we have a new place you can find the podcast called tunein.com. Of course, you can also find my blog, accessadventure.net. And in addition to tunein.com, you can find the podcast on where you find any of your podcasts that you listen to, like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Pandora, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and you'll get the old fat travel guy. Since I have posted a couple pictures, there will be a link down in the description of this podcast, so you can click over to the video side of things to check the pictures out. And I'll be back with the news for the day after a word from one of our network sponsors.
And before we do that, we just want to bring Chillie in here and show you folks he is live and well, and going to be heading down to the lobby here in just a little bit and catching probably an Uber or a cab over to the port and starting a whole nother adventure. And so how are you feeling about that, Chillie? And I see, do you have enough layers on today?
Oh, yeah, I've got about 4 on, and I'm going to put 2 more on before I get out of the door. It is brutally cold. It's going to get worse. But yeah, I'm feeling good about it.
And so we're excited about that. And as you can see, he's got some wireless interruptions there and everything. So we're going to get to all the segments of the show that he put together last night. Let's do some news. We're going to come back and, of course, look at the highlights of who's in the chat room and who's talking to us here at the end. But here's Chillie Falls and today's cruise news.
Viking's newest cruise ship for the Nile River, the Viking Osiris, completed a construction milestone this week when the vessel floated out of dry dock for the first time. The 82-passenger ship was built specifically for the Nile River. It will debut in August and sail 12-day cruises. Viking's Pharaoh and Pyramids itinerary is one of the cruise line's best-selling cruises. The arrival of Viking Osiris later this year coincides with several key events in Egypt in 2022, including the highly anticipated opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum outside of Cairo on the Giza Plateau, as well as the 100th anniversary of the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb. This week, Cruise Line International Association, that's CLIA, released the 2022 State of the Cruise Industry Outlook Report. In the report, we see that hard work from the various cruise organizations, crew members, and trust from guests is paying off in more ways than one. After 2 years of significant losses, layoffs, furloughs, selling of ships in layup, and measures to bring cruise ships back to operations, the numbers show an industry on the way back financially. Over 6 million guests sailed on board a cruise ship since July 2020, but also a sector that has taken innovation and environmental thinking to heart. Not only is the threat of COVID still a genuine problem, it also brings into view the way the cruise industry has tackled the issues in a way no other industry has had to do. Cruise ships are safer, with extensive testing and health measures, but there are also side effects such as smoother, streamlined embarkations and much more extensive use of technology and ensuring health and safety. The report from CLIA certainly provides an interesting view as to where the cruise industry stands today. In 2020, 5.8 million guests have sailed on board a cruise ship. Yet it also draws a picture of how badly the pandemic affected the industry. That 5.8 million is down from 29.7 million embarkations the year before. In 2020, the cruise industry supported 576,000 jobs. While that may seem significant, it's down from 1.17 million jobs in 2019. The total economic contribution of the cruise industry is $154 billion in 2019. In 2020, that number dropped nearly $100 billion to $63.4 billion. There's a few other facts that I found from taking a look at this report. The average age of a cruise passenger is now under 48, with millennials being the most enthusiastic cruisers of the future. Emma certainly was paving the way on that one, wasn't she? Nearly all the ocean ships of member lines will be back in service by August. More than 75% of them are sailing right now. The average passenger spends $750 in ports during a typical 7-day cruise, says CLIA. And every 24 cruisers creates one full-time equivalent job. 6 in 10 people who have been on a cruise have later returned to a destination they first visited on a cruise ship. Royal Caribbean has notified guests on the February 19th sailing of Allure of the Seas that the planned itinerary has been changed due to pier construction delays. This has caused several ports of call to be changed for that sailing. Pier construction at Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, has had delays, which means Allure of the Seas, one of the largest ships in the world, is unable to visit as planned during an upcoming 8-night Eastern Caribbean cruise. The 225,000 gross ton cruise ship, which can host 5,484 passengers at double occupancy, will instead visit Labadee in Haiti. Further, this itinerary change has impacted other ports of call on that February 19th sailing. According to the email sent out to book guests, due to the distance from Haiti, we've pushed back our visit to St. Thomas to Thursday and replaced our visit to St. Kitts with Nassau on Saturday. The government of Hong Kong is not allowing cruises to sail from the city until mid-February at least. This is due to COVID measures in place locally. Dream Cruises announced further cancellations this week on board Genting Dream, affecting 6 cruises between February 4th and February 16th. At the same time, Royal Caribbean, which operates Spectrum of the Seas from the city, also announced more cancellations, affecting 5 cruises, voyages sailing from February 4th, 7th, 10th, 12th, and 14th. Those are all now canceled. The bottom line, Royal Caribbean has decided to reposition Spectrum of the Seas to Singapore earlier than expected. The Quantum Ultra class vessel is set to begin sailings in early 2022. It comes after a difficult time operating cruises to nowhere out of Hong Kong. MSC will adjust the routes of its cargo and cruise ships in the Eastern Mediterranean to avoid collision with the sperm whales, which are in danger of extinction in this part of the world. The MSC Group, one of the main maritime transport and logistics operators, will modify its itineraries on the west coast of Greece to reduce the risk of collision with these endangered species. The decision to move the ships away from the critical habitat of about 300 sperm whales was made after environmental NGO coalition approached the MSC Group. After various studies identified critical habitats of the whales in Greece, west and south of Peloponnese, and southwest of Crete, the decision to adjust the ship's route was crucial for saving them. This was also indicated in the research and the collaboration with International Fund for Animal Welfare, Ocean Care, and WWF Greece.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, so if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.
Oh, and before everybody leaves there, I did those out of order before we do the ending here. Let's go and see who's in the comments section and see who's talking today. Of course, Chillie has left us now, and that's, just like Elvis, he has left the auditorium. So let's see who is all here. Tom, of course, signed in, and before we started the show, he is in Aruba, and apparently these storms and stuff that are centered in Baltimore are nothing near Aruba. And of course, it's that Baltimore storm dropping 2 feet, even more of snow out in the Atlantic to the east of Baltimore that's causing all of these land problems, all these airport delays, and all this mess that's happening all the way down to the Florida Keys. So it's just a crazy time to be out there. Ask for a robe, Tom Henry said for Chillie. Yes, Chillie commented, a big fat man left Alaska's clothes he left his clothes on the boat. Carol says, Bon voyage, a marvelous cruise. Yeah, it's exciting. He is on number 2 of a 3 cruise series here, and he'll be out on this loop, and he'll be back to the very same hotel. He says it's just 5 minutes from the port. It's really a very low price compared to port prices. Place to stay. He says the people are friendly, the food is good, the vegetable content and the alcohol adult beverages is good. So he was pretty happy. Elizabeth signed in. She is still locked up, but at least MSC is taking good care of you, and we are happy for that. Carol is saying, drink lots of those Bloody Marys, Chillie. Keep up the vegetable intake. Amy is saying, freezing and still smiling, question mark. Cleotha, I don't know that I have seen Cleotha on before, but if you're new here, welcome. Good morning, and you do have a cruise family here, Cleotha. We all know each other, and some have sailed together, and some are going to be sailing together. Of course, Pete and Cruising Solo and that group, which we're all a part of in some way, are planning their big first togetherness. It'll be in May of 23, so a year and a couple of months from now. And if you can consider being on that cruise, that would be wonderful. Amy saying freezing and still smiling. Oh, we did that one. Katie, hello, Katie. Yeah, I'm hoping boarding will go as smooth as it did for him on the Freedom of the Seas, but I expect that it will. You know, Chillie has that one real advantage that maybe some cruisers don't have, and that he is that even though he does need some assistance as he's moving around, he has that great big smile and the ability to wait. He is not in any way a Karen, and feeling entitled in any way. And it just seems it's kind of a yin and yang thing. I mean, the less you push back and the more you give the opportunity for them to take their own sweet time, it seems the faster they actually help you and bend over backwards to work for you. I found that in my travels that the more friendly no matter how bad of a day I'm having, I just try not to put it on the next travel and tourism people that are helping me. And that has always worked for me. I don't know that I'm trying to think when it didn't work for me. And I just don't have anything in my mind right now. So yes, I expect that he's going to have a great boarding here on his MSC ship. Tom talked to Elizabeth. Elizabeth talked back. Nikki, of course. Boy, you are just so separate from all the weather that we're having here, Nikki. Today in Minnesota, by the way, it was 10 above, and there's no wind. This is so unusual. We've just had nasty, cold, biting, gusty kind of winds. And so today it's nice. My bedroom window, I can see through this building and across the compound to my bedroom window, and I have it open about 7 or 8 inches just to let the air exchange and get some fresh air. Carol says hi. Elizabeth, it is 46 in Port Canaveral right now. The computer says 55. Well, it's got to be getting a bad reading. It is 46 and it's cold. One of the dams is coming in where Tom Henry is into Port Aruba right now, and the Euro Dam it is. The chat does not allow for any graphics, Tom. Yep. Thank you, Katie, for your nice comments. 5 more days of quarantine yet for Elizabeth, but then she will be back on location and we'll be hearing from her. So that's what's in the chat. We thank you so much for being with us and for following Chillie on his adventures here. We should get some kind of live update when he's on the ship, and I expect that's going to go very well, although he's early. His time for the ship is noon, which is 40 minutes from now, and that's going to be a while. And someone's calling me who doesn't know that I'm on the air right now, so we'll just let that go to voicemail. And let's play Chillie's outro, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Hello. And so that's our show for today, and we'll see you all sometime tomorrow with our, of course, our crazy Three Amigos show. Don't know where Chillie's going to be or how he's going to participate in that, but that goes off. And then, of course, Monday, Chillie will be back with his regular broadcast.